Welcome to the Blogger Genius Podcast, brought to you by MiloTree. Here's your host, Jillian Leslie.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Blogger Genius. Today, my guest is Matt Molen, and he is the founder of Personalized Paths. He is an email marketing expert. We're not just going to touch on the cursory stuff. We are going to delve deep. We talk about not just how to grow your list, but why you need to grow your list. And then once you have a list, what to do with it, how to sell to your list, really how to monetize, how to keep your community close. I think you're going to really like this episode. I think you're going to really like Matt. So without further ado, my interview with Matt Molen. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's awesome to be here.
Okay, so we got connected through a mutual friend, Lindy Hawes, who said, Jill, you have to get him on the show.
Yes, she's fantastic. We've been working together a little bit, and she's doing amazing things.
All right, well, let's talk about this. Okay, so you are an email marketing specialist, I would say, or how would you describe yourself?
I've been working with startups and small businesses for most of my career, over 20 years now. And I actually happened into the world of blogging almost on accident. I was the chief marketing officer for an e-commerce website there was one of those daily deal sites.
Yep.
And I was there for about 10 years. And we were 100% bootstrapped. We had no money. So we had to figure out ways to create sales and create awareness about our products and our deals. And so I learned a lot about affiliate marketing. I learned a lot about email marketing, and because I had to. And so over the course of that 10 years, email was a huge, huge part of what we did to drive sales. So as I started doing my own blogging and then started talking with some friends in the space, they invited me to come speak at these different things. And then that led to side hustle consulting, and my techniques seemed to work. And what we did was a little bit different than what most bloggers have heard about as far as email marketing. And I'll get into that a little bit, I'm sure. But the gist of it is to really identify the path that you want your readers to go down. And so that's why I created this business called Personalized Paths. I have a course that I've created, but I do some consulting with the best bloggers in the world, and it's been very exciting to see how they've changed their businesses using email marketing, of all things.
Right. I would say, so we're like old school. We started a site called Catch My Party with a blog back, like 10 years ago. And in the beginning, the thinking was what you're going to do with your blog is you're going to grow it and you're going to monetize via ads, right? The advertising model.
Sure.
And over time, that has become less lucrative. So bloggers have really had to figure out, okay, how am I going to make money at this? Not that ads don't add to the pie, but it's become like a piece of the pie, not the whole thing.
Sure.
And I think that more sophisticated bloggers have figured out that it's not just about growth for growth's sake. It's really being very intentional about selling to your audience, finding ways to solve their problems, that kind of thing. And I think that I would argue the best way to do that is through email.
Well, and I'm right there with you. And you said something that you'll hear me harp on over and over and over again. Marketing is ultimately about solving your customers' problems. That's all it is. And whether we're running a blog, whether we're running an e-commerce business, or you're an influencer, it doesn't matter. What you're doing is you're actually solving your customers' problems, and that's what attracts them to you. And so email is a fantastic tool to extend that experience, to explain how you solve their problems. And there's so much automation that you can do today where you can take your great content that solves a reader's problem and put it in front of your readers over and over and over again in the order that you want, in the perfect order for them, because you understand what journey that they're going through. And ultimately, that's how brands are built, is by solving problems over and over again.
I like that. I like that because everybody knows these words, grow your list, grow your list. And I
Right.
feel like people don't quite know what to do with their lists once they've grown them. So can we start at the beginning, which is why should you grow your list and how should you grow your list?
Sure. Well, the why is really important. And I think that there's a lot of very recent um, events that have caused many of us to pause and go, okay, wait a second. For instance, Google's recent updates. They're constantly doing updates with their indexing, but many of us have been hit by that. Whether it's up or down, our search engine results, our position in our rankings have changed, which means our traffic changes. And it just reminds us, hey, we don't own this traffic source. Second, did anyone get impacted by that Facebook and Instagram outage recently?
Yes.
I know a lot of people who did. And that wasn't just another call to reminder of hey, you know what? They're going to do what they're going to do. And if they go down, they go down. And it impacts us. Pinterest, just one more piece. They're constantly changing and evolving their feed. And there's lots of reasons to believe that they're going to continue to change, which will impact us and our traffic going forward. So number one is, dang it, let's own our audience as best as we can.
Right.
What do you own? You own your website and you own your email list.
Right.
So that's a great reason, number one. Number two is I think a lot of people miss out on this piece, and that is email is actually a fairly intimate marketing arrangement. It's a fairly intimate form of communication. I have direct access to your inbox.
Right.
And so when I type something up and I hit send, it's going to show up in your inbox. Now, of course, you can block me and you can kick me out and all that. But if we build and do that right, we can create real engagement between ourselves and our readers through email.
Right.
And that's, again, going back to solving their problem.
It's funny. I used to be a writer in Hollywood, and we would talk a lot about the difference between movie stars and TV stars. And this was like during the height of Friends. And somebody said this to me, and I thought, oh my God, that makes so much sense, which is you invite the friends into your living room. You have to go out, at the time, like go out to the movies. And now with Netflix and stuff, it's blurrier. But I remember thinking, I do invite the friends into my living room. And in a weird way, email's similar, which is when you sign up for somebody's list, like I'm inviting them into my inbox, and my inbox is kind of private.
Absolutely. And a lot of people will protect it religiously, and rightfully so. Now, one of the things where it falls down, which I believe is the ultimate opportunity for us, is that, so many companies know that you have to have an email address in order to interact with them, get your email confirmations for work, for whatever purposes. But those that can do it like a real friend, can really build engagement, those are the ones that are going to build a brand. If you think about, like we talked about just a few minutes ago, brand building. If you're in my inbox solving my problem over and over again, you go from being, say, an online cookbook or an online DIY or just this thing I found on Pinterest to being a personality that knows a little bit about what I am thinking about and can help me solve my very next challenge. And so that's where you become a brand to me. And ultimately, that's how email can help create super fans. If you can do that over and over and over again, man, they're going to open your stuff. They're going to tell their friends. They're going to click through. They're going to buy your products.
Right.
That's a super fan. And that's what we're all going for. Now, it's a long play. I get it. Email is a longer play.
Okay.
But ultimately, it's one that is totally worth the build.
Okay. So let's say now the first step is I need an email address. And back in the day, it was lead magnets and those kinds of things. Do those still work? Is that what you recommend? Giving something in return for your email address?
Yes. The short answer is yes, but with a twist.
Okay.
So I think what makes me a little bit different is, well, let's start with how most people do. They try to do list building. The ones that aren't really doing anything at all, but they have good intentions, is they throw up hey, subscribe to my list and I'll send you a free recipe, or I'll send you, right? That kind of thing. We see that everywhere. So I'll send you updates.
Yep.
Most of us are like, who cares? I don't even know who you are. I Googled and I landed here, and I'm just in a transaction right now where, a food blog is a great example of, I'm Googling, Instant Pot ribs. That's going to give me a result. I'm going to land on the result. I'm going to get the recipe. And then what do I most likely do? I most likely go on my merry way. I bounce.
Right.
80 to 90% bounce rates are not uncommon.
Yep.
So what we want to do is we want to get them to stop in their tracks. And the reason that they do that, even if they love the ribs, is they know that they can just Google any old time. They can go to Pinterest. They can find recipes on Facebook. And because online cookbooks are everywhere. That's
Right.
how they view us, right?
Right.
So what we need to do is we need to make them stop in their tracks. And that's the concept of a lead magnet. So there are lots of different types of lead magnets out there. There's checklists and printables and courses. I have one that I have developed that I like the best because A, you can build it super fast if you have existing content, and B, it'll help you stand out in a way that's a little bit different. I call it a quick start guide.
Okay.
And so the gist of this is, let's say that person is, let's go back to our Instant Pot ribs example for a minute. We know a few things about that person when they land on our Instant Pot ribs webpage, on the recipe page. We know that they have an Instant Pot. they're meat eaters. They're probably making dinner for more than one person. We can
Right.
assume a whole bunch of things.
Right.
What if we said, look, I've got a quick start guide for you that'll help you make more of your Instant Pot. 5 secrets to getting more out of your Instant Pot tonight. Something along those lines. Now, then what we do is with this quick start guide hook, we get them onto the list and we fulfill that problem by delivering them 3 to 5 emails in a row,
Okay.
separated by a day.
Okay.
So every day for 5 days, they're receiving a new quote unquote lesson from us that goes with this quick start guide. Lesson number 1 and I can't even fake Instant Pot because I've never really used it.
Right.
but whatever technique number 1 is that you know about, which
Right.
if you're writing about it, you know about it. That's lesson number 1, and you link them back to your site.
To a blog post with
Back
that?
to a blog post that already talks about that. Hey, with Instant Pot, did you know that you can make super tender meats in just 30 minutes? Here's how you do it. You add a little bit of water and you do this thing. And here are 3 recipes for the super tender meats.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
So I give
Then-
the information in the email, but then I link to kind of supportive posts or ancillary posts. So I'm not linking to the post that says, here's how to make tender meat.
Right, exactly. You could be. If you have a post that talks about how to do that, then it might be a very short email that says, hey, your lesson today is, the problem we have with meat and cooking it quick is it dries out quickly with all the fast techniques that we use. I've discovered a brand new way with my Instant Pot to keep that tenderness and make it super juicy. Click here to get it.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so that's my lesson number 1. Lesson
Got
number
it.
2, lesson number 3, lesson number 4, and up to 5. Those are all related to this topic of Instant Pot secrets, of my quick start guide
Love it.
to making the most of an Instant Pot. Now, the power of this, Jillian, is that you are answering their problems.
Yep.
You're giving them really meaty content that helps them to get to know you as not just an online cookbook
Right.
or an online DIY reference site or inspiration site, but as a brand, as a subject matter expert.
What I like
Someone who knows that.
I like this for a variety of reasons. One, it's not just a PDF that I'm never going to open or use. Right?
Right.
Because a lot of times it's like, get my PDF. And in the moment, I'm like, yeah, I'll get your PDF. And then literally it shows up. Even if it shows up instantaneously, it's like there's so much friction. I have so much in my inbox that like, am I really going to download the PDF? Am I really going to print it out? Chances are and then I think, oh, it's just staying in my inbox. It's somewhere.
Exactly.
But I don't necessarily revisit it. So I like also the fact that by sending these quick tips, it's like you're continually reminding me, oh, hey, you're showing up again. Oh, there you are again. There you are again.
Right.
So that you can really build that trust and relationship.
Exactly. A quick example, personal. And one of the reasons that I stumbled onto this, my wife Alicia, we have a blog that is devoted to Disney cruises. So Disney cruising is a once in a lifetime activity for many people. And if it's your first time cruising, because it's expensive, and you want it to be super magical. A lot of people get stressed out because cruising is a different type of vacation, and Disney does cruising even more differenter. So our quick start guide, our hook is what to expect on your first Disney cruise. So for, like you said, several days in a row, they went from Pinterest landing them on a tips page
Right.
to Alicia, who is the writer of the email, being an expert. And
Right.
she gets questions back that leads us to content ideas that just allows us to help and possibly connects them to sponsors or partners where we make a little bit of money. So this engagement starts to happen when they see her as a real person that has identified what they are thinking about before they even knew to think about it.
Right.
And then answering that problem.
Right. Okay. So now we've gone through what happens on day 5?
Okay. So on day 5, you give them that last lesson and you simply say, hey, I hope you've enjoyed this quick start guide, these secrets, these tips, whatever. While this is the end of this little mini course, this is not goodbye. I'll be back in your inbox with more ideas, strategies, whatever, that I've found really work in this particular topic. See you soon.
Okay. So let's say that I'm the food blogger and you've gone through my series on Instapots, but I don't just do Instapots. Like I make lots of different recipes. So
Sure.
Am I then going to give them, I know that certain people will put up like a kind of what is it? Where you choose, like, I'm interested in desserts, or what are you interested in? And you can get people to segment themselves.
You can do that, absolutely. But I think that's maybe a class or two down the road.
Okay.
Most people are not doing what I would suggest they do next, which is to think through the most common journey. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm talking today to people who have not built out this level of sophistication with their email yet. Okay. So they're looking for a quick start guide. What I do with my clients is we pick a general one. Ultimately, if you're a recipe blogger, why not have a quick start guide about Mexican food and about desserts and about Instant Pot?
Okay.
And deliver that to people as pop-ups or sidebars or embedded posts or whatever for people that are coming to those sections.
Okay.
But for most of us, we need just something to start with. So start with something general, something that will serve most of the people that are coming to your site right now. We just want to cast a net to get as many people in as possible. Then, this is where it gets really cool. I love sending them stuff that is automated and they don't know it. This next thing that I send, I call it the Forever Series. What most of us are doing is we are sending the most recent stuff that we have published, not our best stuff. If you've been blogging for any amount of time, you probably started with some stuff that you really knew well and you have some cornerstone content that has served you well over the years. But that stuff is buried to somebody that has just happened across Instant Pot ribs because, thank you, Google, they happen to be searching for that. We want to get the very best of your blog in front of your readers because the best means that you've learned how to solve that reader's problems. So the great thing about, now I'll just use, we'll continue with food, but it also works for DIY, it works for fashion, it works for everything.
Okay.
But come up with your very best email and the first 3 to 5 emails. If you were to craft out the journey for once somebody's on your list, what could you tell them as if you were putting your arm around their shoulder and you said, hey, I know I've got this big old website full of stuff, but because I have a sense of who you are, I know that you're going to have this next question. Let me point you to that answer. Now, a real example of this, I'll go back to picturethemagic.com, which is the Disney Cruise site. Once they're on the list, we know that these are Disney cruisers, right?
Right.
We also know that Disney Cruise vacation, you book 18 to 24 months out.
Okay.
Email number 1 is always, always, always the most powerful Disney Cruise tip I ever learned. Now, this email gets sent whether it is January, June, or Halloween. It does not matter. We send that first because that's our very best content. Legit. And it's legit good stuff. You're not going to find it anywhere else.
Got it.
And when they read that as their first email from us, they're like, okay, I'm even more in love. Now, the next week, they're getting the packing list. And the week after that, they're getting how to tip. And the week after that, what to do on the private island. And we've thought through this journey because these are the most common questions that people have.
Okay.
By the time you get to week 10, we can send them an email that says, hey, do you need travel insurance for a Disney cruise? Yes or no? And then there's a whole article on our blog that talks about the pros and cons of getting trip insurance. And of course, it's an affiliate play. And of course, the recommendation is, yeah, you should probably get it.
Okay.
Now, if we sent that as the very first thing, that would be a little jarring.
Right.
But by week 10, they've been receiving 10 weeks of amazing content from us. It performs really, really well.
So wait,
because they're like,
so the first 5 weeks are the quick start guide. And then 5 more, or this is now email 15?
I'm glad that you asked that. So the first 5 emails, the quick start guide, are 5 days in a row.
Okay.
Because they've given you permission to answer for this quick start guide.
Yep.
So you can send them 5 days in a row.
Okay.
Then after that, I send a weekly email.
Got it.
So this trip insurance is like week 10.
Okay.
So it's email number 10 in that series.
Got it.
So by that time, they're like, okay, Alicia and Matt, they are really good at this Disney cruise stuff. And if they say I need trip insurance, man, I better get trip insurance. And so that's why it converts so much better. We built the trust.
Got it.
We built the brain.
So are you selling anything or advising, any products until week 10?
Well, this is a very specific example. Everybody's going to be different. Some people can sell right after the quick start guide or during the quick start guide, for that matter. I've got clients that have, products that it just makes total sense to offer it then. Again, all I'm saying is think about the reader's journey.
Right.
If you were to put your arm around their shoulder when they walked into your website, if it was a store, and you were to guide them from thing to thing to thing, where would you take them? At what point would you show them the thing that, from the samples to the thing to purchase?
Got it.
Right? So that's the glory of today's email marketing, is we can do all that with automation. Many people are killing themselves trying to come up with exclusive new content, or they're doing it the other way, which is they don't bother at all, and they set it on the automatic dreaded RSS feed emails.
Right, which means that you're just sending your most recent blog post to your subscribers.
Think about what an RSS feed driven email is. And for those that I think most of people know, but it's probably good to clarify, an RSS feed allows the website then is able to tell the email system that, hey, a new post was created, and then it generates an email with the title of that post.
Right.
So if you made a post called asparagus salad,
right,
and you get an email that says asparagus salad, and then it's got a picture of asparagus salad and a recipe, I don't care. That's most people's reaction. I don't care what's in that for me, because that asparagus salad did not bother to try to explain to me how it was going to solve my problems. If I want asparagus salad at the moment for that to be effective, I have to be in the mood for asparagus salad. I can't remember the last time I was in the mood for asparagus salad.
Right.
I'm in the mood for chocolate chip cookie quite often.
Right. Right.
So, but if you told me, are you looking for a light, fast lunch that will help you stick to your keto? Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Well, that's salad, right? So it's a little bit different. That's why I don't love the RSS-driven emails. It's a machine telling another machine that that previous machine was updated.
Right, and then it's kind of a crapshoot whether the recipient cares.
Exactly.
Are you a blogger or entrepreneur who loves their business, but is also a little overwhelmed with all that you have to do in a day? So I want to share a tool that will increase your social media followers, grow your email list, build your traffic, all without you having to do anything. It's called MiloTree. So MiloTree is a pop-up app that my husband David built for our first site, Catch My Party. In the 4 years that we've been using the MiloTree app on Catch My Party, our Pinterest account has grown exponentially to over 1 million followers, and our Instagram has grown to over 160,000 followers, and both of these sites drive millions of page views to Catch My Party every single month. MiloTree works to grow followers on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. It will grow your sales for your Shopify or Etsy stores, and it will even grow your email list. MiloTree, it's easy to use. It can be installed on your site in under 3 minutes. It won't slow your site down, and it's even Google friendly. The MiloTree app is also customizable. You can focus on growing one platform at a time or switch between several. We also provide analytics. Right now, you can get your first 30 days for free. Just go to milotree.com to sign up for your free trial today. There's really no risk. if you aren't converting readers into followers, subscribers, and customers, you need to change your strategy. Because if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep having the same results. Well, MiloTree will get you the results you need, but it can't help you unless you add it to your site now. So take the first step. Head over to milotree.com and start your free 30-day trial right now. There are no contracts. You can cancel anytime. And as a bonus, once you sign up, I'll send you valuable business tips each week to help you continue to grow your business. Look, you can't be everywhere all the time, so let MiloTree work for you. It's fast, it's easy, and it gets results. So what are you waiting for? Get your free trial today. Go to milotree.com. Now here's a question. So people are told, send a newsletter once a week to your audience. And so people scramble to send a newsletter. But what you're saying is that strategy doesn't quite make sense unless there is a why to that.
The way that I think about newsletters today is, and again, when I describe a newsletter, I'm talking about the one that says, okay, guys, so I had these 3 updates this week. And by the way, I went to Paris too, and it was fantastic. And let me show you a picture of my cats.
Okay.
First of all, nobody cares about your cats.
Right.
Unless you're Taylor Swift.
Right.
And if you're Taylor Swift listening to this, hit me up. I want to talk.
Okay.
But if you're not, then nobody cares about your cats until you're at a certain level where you have solved their problems so much that they now care about you individually. We might care about Martha Stewart's cats because we want to get to know her better.
Right.
So as far as newsletters are concerned, the way I think about it is, what problem can you solve right now? So if we got Mother's Day around the corner, we have a Cinco de Mayo, we've got Memorial Day. What is your audience thinking about right now? And you probably have existing content or new content that caters to that. Don't send an email unless you know what problem you're solving for your reader.
Mm. Got it. So, okay.
If I'm consulting to somebody that says, okay, I need to do a newsletter, my concepts are typically about, okay, if we're going to create a calendar for broadcasts, that's my term for a newsletter, right? Okay. That's one that's not automated.
Right.
That's one that, because it's Memorial Day, it's got to go out now.
Right.
What we're doing is we're thinking through, what problem am I solving for my readers? That's it. That's what the content calendar looks like for me.
Got it.
That's what the broadcast calendar looks like for me. I don't care about what happened last year until you're at a certain level. I don't care what happened, what you posted this week, unless it is couched inside that problem-solving discussion.
Right. Okay. So when you think about your business, or like your Disney cruise business, now we've gotten to email 10, where you're selling, or you're talking about insurance. Okay. And then do you continue on in an automated sequence? And at what point would you be doing broadcast newsletters to this audience, or maybe never?
I do both.
Okay.
If I'm most of my clients are prolific content creators. Okay. Which means, and they have big audiences. So, but even if you're starting out small, if you can, the rule of thumb is that if you solve my problems, it's not spam. If you're providing me value, it's not spam.
Right.
The minute that you're just sending me fluff, we start to unsubscribe.
Okay.
So what I do with that automated side, that's evergreen stuff. Build that out as far as you can. I call that the forever series. The reason I call it forever series is because it could go on forever. Now, at Picture the Magic, it's 25 deep because we just, we haven't written that much content.
Got it.
About Disney Cruise.
Okay.
But we also have broadcasts where, like, holy cow, Avengers just came out, or whatever Disney World tickets are at their all-time low, or which is, okay, I made that up, but you get the idea.
Right. I was like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah, you're in. So from that perspective, I do a Forever series once a week.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can get away with it, I do a broadcast once a week.
Really?
Now, yeah.
Okay.
Because if you're a prolific blogger and your readers are following you, they are into that, especially if you are continuing to solve their problems. You stop doing that, then people don't want it. That's where people are worried about being too spammy, is because they haven't known what to send.
Right.
They haven't known how to couch the conversation, how to phrase it in a way that really impacts their readers, so you're solving their problems.
Right.
I'm a broken record on this.
No.
But this is the big difference that I see.
It's funny because I do a Forever series, right? And really what it is it's for people who sign up for Milo Tree. I have a business background and I think about business all the time. And really it's just evergreen tips and tricks. And I just sent one out yesterday, actually. And it was, there's one question to ask your audience, and that is, what are you struggling with?
Right.
So that is the constant, constantly, that is the real only question you need to keep asking them.
And if you're constantly solving those existing problems, they're going to ask you, hey, yeah, but what about this?
Right.
And hey, what about that? Because you have proven to be a reliable source, a reliable brand that answers that. I get questions on my email business all the time. I get questions on the Disney website all the time of, hey, what about this? Have you thought about how do you get from the airport to the right? I mean, stuff like that, because they're like, well, she was willing to answer my question on this other thing. I bet she's willing to answer or she might know the answer to this other thing. And so when that happens, you're like, bingo, Yep. That's my next piece of content or my next product to sell.
Totally. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think there is something to it coming from my inbox, like my email to you, that you feel more like there's an opening to email me back.
Right. Exactly. You just basically, I know how to reach them. I just hit reply.
Right. Right. Now, is it true that if, for example, you're sending your Forever series, how much does it matter when people will say, like, I'm going to show up in your inbox every Monday? And like, do audiences really sit there going, it's Monday, where's my email? Or do you have, like, because you were saying you do your once a week email and then you'll do your broadcast. Like, does that confuse your audience? Do we have to care so much about consistency?
Consistency is comforting.
Okay.
Consistency gives the reader, it sets their expectations. It allows them to get a sense of how often are you going to be here. And when you're not, meaning you come more often than that, then okay, wait a minute, I'm not sure I agreed to this. So we have talked in some fairly general terms here. If I'm building out these individual campaigns, these individual sequences, I do want to be very careful about when I send them and to whom. You can do a lot of, segmentation if you want to get into next level type of email stuff. For most people, if you're sending, these automated emails, just go, and you have a broadcast, they get used to, say, every Tuesday and every Friday, or every Saturday and every Monday, or whatever it is for you, and they'll get used to that, and that you'll maintain your subscription rates and your open rates if you are consistent. When you get outside of that and you're all sporadic, you're going to find that A, they're not used to hearing from you if you take a long time to email them. They're like, who are you again? And then B, when you overdo it, you'll start to see it when you watch your stats. So yes, I do believe that consistency is important, and setting expectations is always great. Okay.
And do you think that email is a viable way to grow traffic? Because it's an expensive way, when you do the math and you think about it, email service providers are expensive.
The first thing that I would advise people to do is to be aggressive about growing your list, but also be aggressive about pruning your list.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah, there's no need to carry dead weight on your subscriber list. What I mean by pruning your list is that over time, this is just natural. People will stop opening. They'll stop clicking.
Right.
Those folks need to go.
Okay.
And we don't take it personal.
Yep.
Your email subscriber count is nothing but a vanity metric. Who cares?
Yep.
So we want the people that are opening and clicking. So I have a process that I use personally, that, every 60 days I'm cleaning out people who haven't opened or clicked in the last 30 to 90, the last 90 days or more. And the reason for that, and there's different ways you can do that. You can do win back campaigns, say, is this really good buy? Or
Right.
if you click this to stay on the list, that sort of thing.
Right.
But the reason we do that is because, like you said, it costs money to keep those subscribers on, and it impacts your deliverability.
Yep.
With our ISPs such as Yahoo, Hotmail, Gmail. So you want as highly engaged a list as you possibly can have.
So what kind of open?
Well,
what kind of open rates then are you looking at?
I get that question quite often, and it really depends.
Okay.
For instance, if you're offering a free coloring page as your lead magnet, I would expect your open rates for your rest of your stuff is going to be much, much lower.
Right.
Because the barrier to entry, for the looky-loos was very low. So they can get in there, they can check it out, so your open rates are going to be lower. The higher the list grows, the lower the open rate as well. And that's natural, that's fine.
Right.
The metric I really care about is how frequently does somebody engage. Like if they just haven't engaged in the last 3 to 6 months, then they're gone.
Okay.
And second, I want total raw clicks, unique clicks. I want people clicking back to my website.
Ooh,
I remember
okay.
your question.
Yep. Yeah.
Your question was, can it drive traffic? And the answer is yes, absolutely. My formula for writing an email is state the problem that the reader is having, explain that you have the solution and why you have the solution, and then give them the link back to your blog that has the solution.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really simple, it's short. People think they need to write these big long emails. Please don't. I don't want to read your big blocks of text.
I don't either. I don't.
So get to the point, right? State the problem that you're solving. Tell me you have the solution and why I should believe you, and then click through to it. It's that typical tease,
right?
Of course.
Yep.
But when you deliver on it over and over and over again, you are building a brand, and you're saving them time, and you're getting them back to your website. When they're back to your website, they start to identify with your logo, with your face, with your pictures. They click around. They find the products. They find other content. For me, it's a no-brainer for building a lasting, loyal impact, loyal following.
Got it. Now, what email service providers are you liking right now?
The great news is that there's a lot of choices out there, and they all do a very decent job.
Okay.
Today's email technology is very solid. Personally, for most of my clients, ConvertKit is what I recommend, and it's what I built my course around simply because I had to choose at some point.
Right.
I've used quite a few of them, and I've moved lists around. I eventually settled on ConvertKit because it was a nice balance of the automation and the features of kind of this program that I've been telling you about,
right?
Plus, the simplicity of use, which many of my clients care about. So, yeah, that's what I use. But I will also tell you, there's a lot of other great ones out there.
Right. We use ActiveCampaign.
Sure. Yeah, ActiveCampaign is a very reputable, well-known, and I don't know all their features, but I know they get it too.
Right.
About what's possible and what you can do today with email.
Got it. Okay. So you're talking, let's say, because you work with bloggers, if somebody has not, a lot of times people say, I need to grow my list. But if you had one piece of advice for what to do, like how to just kind of jump in and start creating these automations, what would it be?
Okay. So buckle up. Here we go.
All right. I'm ready.
Number one, identify the biggest problem that you can solve for your reader with your existing content.
Love it.
Take 3 to 5 pieces of content that you already have on your site. Lump them together in a theme. You're creative. You can do it. We were talking about Instant Pot, for example.
Okay.
And create what I call a quick start guide.
Okay.
With that quick start guide, you send them the answer. You create a form on your website that says, hey guys, I just made this quick start guide that answers such and such problem. Sign up for it free here. It's 5 secrets to whatever. They sign up, then 1 email per day for 5 days.
Okay.
Then they're going to be on your list. And if you've done it right, you will have a much more interested subscriber for the next stuff that is to come of what you're going to send them once they're on your list. But it's that simple. And if you're really stuck, go look at Google Analytics and find your top
posts.
Top 5 top posts.
Yep.
What's getting traffic today? Because obviously that's solving a problem. Can you mash them together in some sort of theme?
Right.
My guess is you probably can.
Right.
And then boom, you've got something that you could create in a matter of just a couple hours.
I love this.
And you could be done with it.
I love this. Okay, Matt, how can people learn more about you, reach out to you, see what you're doing, sign up for your free course, all of that stuff?
Sure. So I've got 3 levels with which I work with bloggers and influencers. The first one is a free program. It's 3 videos, and it's super short, really digestible, actionable, shows some examples. It's called Email Jumpstart. So it's emailjumpstart.com. If you want the free thing, go there. If you're serious about getting this done and making this change finally with your email list, I have a course that is 20 plus video modules that tells you what to do and how to do it technically. The technical side always scares people, so I take care of that. And that is emailautopilot.com.
Great.
Email-on-autopilot.com.
Email-on-autopilot.com.
Yes,
okay.
I better get my own URL right.
Yes.
And so if you have, if you're more established and you're looking for somebody to help you with your own individual strategy, then just hit me up on my website. I do have some consulting services where I might be able to help you out.
Okay, and your email, your regular website is?
It's personalizedpaths.com.
Okay, perfect. Well, I have to say, what I love about what you have just taught me and told us is how it's not hard. Like it doesn't have to be super complicated.
I think for me, this was a big aha moment was when I, because the hard part, Jillian, is that people will not take the time to think through the journey.
Yes.
That's the hard part.
Yes.
If you will grab your notebook and you'll turn off your phone and you'll turn off everything else and just go to a quiet place and go, if somebody was coming to my website today, what could I do with them? What would be the ideal path for them? And think through the content that you have. You're probably going to create something pretty dang awesome. Even if you can't do it forever and ever, you could probably do 10.
Right.
And that would be better than what you've done today.
Right.
So yeah, today's email automation makes it all possible, and I love it.
Well, thank you. Well, I have to say, this was such a pleasure, and I'd love to have you back on the show to kind of go even to the next level.
Sure, anytime.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
All right, thanks, Jillian.
I have a new thing. If you want to get the 4 biggest takeaways from this episode and every episode to come, head to bloggergenius.com. Just add your name and email address and you'll be added to the list. So that it's kind of like Cliff Notes. If you're too busy but you just want to know what we're talking about, definitely head to bloggergenius.com and subscribe. And I will see you here again next week.